Okie dokie. So we're actually recording this episode. Thank God. Behind the scenes look. I'm so sorry about last week's, guys. You have no idea. And this is kind of a cool little thing because it's behind the scenes. Not really a whole lot, but before the episode really begins, you kind of get to see this. I only have 30 minutes exactly until the recorder goes off, so I kind of got to rush into it depending on how long the episode is. But what I do is I record this, and I have this just as a backup standard. This is the Rode wireless mic. But generally, I use the Yeti audio for both the Apple Podcast app and Spotify. So even in the video, I pretty much get rid of the Rode audio and just overlay this audio on top of the video. So it's just a matter of synchronization. But we're getting ready to go right now because I don't want to waste more time. Well, hello and welcome back to the Chris Seibert Show. I really need to get a cool little intro made because that would be so cool. Welcome back to the Chris Seibert Show. No, I am really pleased. I'm really thankful, and I cannot honestly thank you guys enough. I have here the numbers from the first episode, which I'm really happy to share, and this is slowly becoming like something I'm just really excited and happy and looking forward to now every single week, just because for me it's cool to just share this information and talk about it and just, I don't know, give a brief rundown and brief overview and all these kind of little tidbits and stuff. And for those of you out there that are naturally curious, I feel like you'll just kind of feel like you're that much closer to me. At least you kind of get a sense or maybe benefit from this information. Not too sure, but anyways, the first episode from my Lisbon. Now, Lisbon is the program I use, or I guess the website as a host to store these podcasts. I kind of went the cheap route. I bought a $7 package, but today I had to bump it up to $15 a month to host my podcast series, which should be plenty enough space, but that's beside the point. I ended up having 5 total downloads. Now, this can either be through Spotify or the Apple Podcast app, but regardless, there was 5 total downloads. And I will say that I was one of those downloads just because I wanted to hear it back and make sure it sounded good. I have both Spotify and Apple Music, but I just wanted to test Apple Music, and it sounded really good. I was really impressed. But there was 4 other people out there. So for those of you out there that ended up downloading and listening, thank you so much. And if you look at the data, or I guess I looked at the data, I had 9 YouTube video views. I didn't even look at it once. I usually go back and watch every single one of my videos when I first upload it and then like it. But this one I didn't even touch. It turns out that a third of those 9 stayed through, even though there was no video recording until the 10-minute and 45-second mark. I had a 35.4% retention average out of those 9 views to that part. So again, the fact that there was no video, it was just overlay. I just designed a quick graphic and played the audio over that. It was just awesome. So thank you out there for those of you that are watching. Just know it is now officially on the Apple Podcast app as well as Spotify, The Chris Seibert Show. And again, if you're listening to this through either of those platforms and want to see me or came across this show, I am on YouTube, Christopher Seibert, and that's where you can go and you'll find this exact video. So that's that. But again, thank you. I decided this week too that for the next few episodes in particular, and I'll probably do this in the future again, but I just kind of want to briefly go over category by category, or at least shout it out first, so that way people aren't kind of confused or just know what's happening. When every episode begins, the first thing I'm really going to do is I'm going to highlight pretty much just a weekly update about my personal life. And this can be, of course, work-related, my side business, side hustle related. This can be YouTube related. Just talk about that kind of stuff. And that's what we're really going to dive into. And then I'll hold the next category after we get done with this subject. But in terms of my first point I want to bring up, 2 weeks ago at my job, there was layoffs. Now, there wasn't a whole lot of layoffs, but there was layoffs. This isn't for low. This, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. But there's all different kinds of types of layoffs out there. This was like severance package layoff done. And it broke my heart because I am one of the ones who is newest and got hired on in 2019. I started as an intern in September 6th, I believe, and then got hired on full-time in November. It was literally, I think, the week of Thanksgiving. So luckily, I was fortunate enough I haven't gotten laid off, but I'm bringing this up because today, or not really today, sorry, it was yesterday, Wednesday, and you'll be watching this in the future, so that won't really matter. But I had a meeting with our department and the CEO of the company where I work at, and we ended up going around and we got packets of pretty much our new roles for the department. And a lot of mine ended up staying the same. I'm a video production specialist, if you didn't know, so nothing was really new to me. However, something that was super fascinating and super awesome, if you don't follow me on Snapchat or know, here recently, because of the pandemic and trying to reach out to our customers and dealers, what we've decided to do is start doing live streaming. And I've had experience with YouTube. You guys know that I live stream every single Wednesday, or if you didn't know, I do live stream every single Wednesday. It's a little bit laggy and stuff, but that's really honestly beside the point. Oh God, what's happening? Hopefully, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, that was my bad. Sorry, I was scared to death because it looked like my GarageBand crashed, so sorry about that. But no, so going back to what I was talking about, we started live streaming, and I ended up getting the role in this from this spreadsheet that I am now pretty much the production lead, which I think is super cool. Titles and stuff I don't think really matter too much, but I was joking around to a couple of my close friends who I work with saying, oh yeah, this is my new dating profile information. People are going to know who I am now because of this title. It's super funny. But the sad part about it is I've gotten a budget. So with that, I've been allowed to have the orders to purchase equipment here and there to make this live stream go into full effect. Right now, I've been going through Instagram Live, the good old IG Live, kind of similar to Periscope, but through the Instagram version. And that way you get up to an hour of streaming. But we're slowly moving and converting that to YouTube to where we'll have a lot more cooler features like overlays, longer time, being able to make people moderators, and really just have a lot of fun with that. We ended up getting a switcher and some other stuff. But the sad part about it is we've had this equipment now for a couple weeks, and I've yet to get it live and going. So this week we ended up getting the right part, and it just made me look really unprofessional and kind of silly, which is sad. But I'm not a superhuman. I didn't expect us to go live out the gate like this, and especially having a large budget to work with. It was quite a few $1,000s. It was a little stressful and scary, but I'm really happy and proud to be called, I guess, the lead, even though I technically wouldn't say I'm the lead because I have somebody who's above me overlooking the project. But in terms of production standpoint, filming, editing, recording, all of that, that is my role. So that's just super cool, and I wanted to bring that up in my my update for this week. Another thing I want to talk about too is that running is coming to an end closely, or I guess it's coming to a close. Saturday, it will be May 17th, I believe, is the last day. That'll be 30 days in a row of consecutive running. The challenge was just doing 1 mile a day. However, every single day I've managed to run a 5K for the past 30 days, but it hasn't been 30 days yet. Today was the 27th day or the 28th day. Tomorrow will be the 29th. So I'm sorry, it'll be the 16th of May. It will be the last day. Today was the 20th day. That is correct. But Tuesday, I ran a 5K with an average mile pace of 7 minutes and 46 seconds. I did get quite a few comments from my social media saying how awesome it was and the progress, and that felt super great. But I wanted to bring this up this week particular, not to just be like in your face, but to show you guys that over time with patience and consistency, you will see progress. I know that when I began the challenge, I think I was running mid to late 8s, sometimes even 9s. And to get close here to the last stretch with the 30-day challenge almost ending soon, I was able to get 7 minutes and 46 seconds per mile. In a 5K, that's 3.1 miles. So it's pretty incredible. I've been trying to push that yesterday and today, but I'm starting to realize that my body, the more I push it harder, it just starts to deteriorate. And my Achilles has kind of been hurting on my left side, and it's just, I don't want to push myself too hard. But I'm very proud of my progress, and that number alone is something I never would have thought for an average pace for a 5K, but that's unbelievable. Next topic, I didn't bring this up in the last live stream, the introduction live stream for the Chris Seibert Show. However, since this is technically week 1 and we're really beginning and pushing this off the ground, in the future, I plan on bringing gaming to my channel, and what I've kind of started to do is I've started to essentially make a wish list online. I'm going to be ending up buying a custom PC, and it's not going to be anything powerful or too expensive. I'm looking at a low ball 550, no more than hopefully $500 for a custom PC, but I won't even be live streaming video games on my computer. What I'm going to essentially be doing is using my Xbox, buying an Elgato capture card, hooking that up to the custom PC, and then streaming from that. That is the ultimate goal. And on top of that, buying the custom PC comes all the other things. I don't have to worry about a chair because I have a nice office chair already. I'll need to buy a backdrop and some lighting. I already have a very nice microphone that I'll be working with right here, the Blue Yeti, which I have been using for the podcast series so far. But look to be seeing that on Saturdays. And I've been thinking about it. It's been nice. There's been no nightlife going on. I haven't really been able to spend any money. And most of the time I don't spend money. I just invest it. But I think in a couple more checks, I'm going to end up just going all in and buying it. I've been kind of on the struggle bus of deciding whether between investing in gear for my side hustle or investing in the gaming stuff. And, I keep just hitting myself because I'm like, with the way things are going, finding a side hustle, side business stuff right now, it's just really not a good time with the whole pandemic situation. There's not a lot of people needing work done and stuff. So why not go ahead and just pull the plug and spend the lowest amount to get what I need for YouTube? And then, of course, use whatever I have left and continue to save and then eventually buy better gear. So look for that in the future. This will happen on Saturdays, and I'm thinking maybe early morning, and depending on if I go out on Friday, maybe early afternoon on Saturdays, just host like a good 3-hour live stream to where I can really bring in subscribers if they decide or want to play with me. There's so much we can do. And what's cool talking about like a marketing strategy and really just growing and expanding my YouTube channel and getting more impressions, having gaming now involved in my channel will bring a whole new market / genre of viewers. So it's going to be a win-win regardless. I'm really excited because I do love gaming personally, but again, I got to take into a fact that I love my job and I'm focused on that and my side hustle, doing my video stuff, and then of course this whole YouTube thing. This is a priority as of now. Gaming's just for fun, but incorporating the gaming live streaming into my channel I think would just be an awesome. The next point I want to bring up is that I've been noticing, welcome to my weekends, if you guys have been watching these here a lot more recently, it's just kind of getting, I wouldn't say boring, but just it's reoccurring where it's the same thing. It was so fun in the past because I was able to go out on the weekends. I was seeing friends all the time. You just didn't really know what to expect when my weekend rolled around. But here more recently, the April challenge, the 30-day April video challenge kept me super preoccupied and busy. But now it just kind of feels like, to me, on the weekends, it's the same old thing. I'm in my apartment. It's different shots. I've been running, so I've been doing that. And I've been able to see my family, which has been exciting. But overall, I'm sorry if you kind of feel that way, and I hope it's not too boring. So I got to keep continuing to strategize and adapt and think of ways to make that fun again. One of the ideas I have in mind in particular, and what I'm going to implement here at the end of this month, is doing a new series where I review books that I read. That gives me 30 days to read a new book, talk about it, and then how I'm going to essentially apply it to my everyday life. And I think that's going to be really cool for people out there who do love reading books, just to take my words and consider them. And if the book sounds good, then they can maybe check it out at their local library or purchase the book, and then they can tell me through social media or the comments or whatever what they felt about the book, if they read it or not. So that's pretty much the bulk in 1 week of my personal life. And there's no business developments, my side hustle stuff. Again, I haven't heard from anybody, no work. So that's that. But again, if you're new to this, just know that every single episode when I begin, I will talk for the first good portion just about what's happened in the last week in my life to update you guys. The next part I'm going to be talking about is the stock market. This is another big category that I want to share in these podcast episodes. The first thing I want to talk about, and it's always important to mention, is I didn't go to school to be a broker. I'm not a broker. I'm not a licensed trader. I have no real, I wouldn't say patent, but I'm not licensed. I'm just a hobbyist. This is something I do in my spare time. It's something fun. But I truly do love stocks. My dad kind of got me hooked on it when I was in late high school, early college. And a lot of people consider it gambling, kind of consider it a joke, maybe don't take it too seriously. It's more of a riskier investment. So if you really care about your money, it could be very frightening. But to me, growing your wealth is just more important than ever. And extremely starting out, sooner than later. And what I've soon realized is that the more you kind of continue to invest in the stock market, and if you buy legitimate, good companies, your money begins to compound and you grow your money a lot faster than, say, if you just had a couple $100 compared to $1,000. And if you truly believe in the companies, it's like you're betting on these companies that they're going to be winners and they're going to provide value and change either an industry or just be the best of the best. And it's just really exciting and fun. Not to even mention when you go on their corporate or company website, when you look at their social media, when you just, you really deep dive into the company per se and see how they're running their engine and their train and what they're doing to make themselves shine and be the best. So it's just, you're hedging, you're speculating. If you're doing the math, if you're looking at the charts, the data, it's just so much fun. But I want to share with you guys my portfolio. I won't go too in depth about each particular company, but I will share just a couple little things. So Blink is my biggest investment currently, and I own 2,000 shares of that. Getting into the next ones, and this is really how my portfolio is kind of shifted here recently. So before, I was looking at companies that just either go up or go down, say like Blink, for example. It's just a company that you're speculating. If you're looking at the charts, you're looking at their product. If you believe it's a good company, you're putting money into the company, investing in it, and seeing where it's going to go. However, here more recently than not, I've really started to look at companies with dividends. So these companies are very important. And a lot of them, there's companies that have dividends, there's ETFs, there's REITs. There's all kinds of different companies, or I guess you would call it a, I can't even think of the term right now. I'm not going to spend too long thinking about it because I don't want to waste time. But essentially, if you hold on to a share of these companies, every single share that you hold for a particular amount of time, they end up paying you a portion of money. So, for example, I own four other stocks in my portfolio. This includes symbol MFA. I have 900 shares. Per share, they pay you 80 cents annually. Now, I want to also bring this up. Every single one except SPHD, which I'll talk about next, has not canceled out their dividend yet. However, the other ones have. So I won't be getting these paid annually as of now. Now, however, in the next few months, per se, say they start paying their dividend back again, I'm assuming it could either be cheaper or maybe more as the company continues to grow. We'll see how that plays out. But per Corona, MFA was 80 cents an annual share. And this is every quarter they pay 20 cents, which equals 80 cents full, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I also own SPHD. Again, this company, or I guess ETF, has not stopped their dividend, but they have an $1.80 annual dividend, and I own 63 shares of that currently. The next one is MITT, MITT. I own 260 shares of that has a payout of $1.80 annual dividend. And then lastly, EPR, which has a $4. Did I say my shares for the last one? 260 shares. That's how much I own of MITT. And then EPR, I own 94 shares with an annual dividend of $4.59. Now again, EPR, MITT, and MFA have canceled out their dividend for the time being due to the coronavirus and just making sure that they're not hurting their balance sheet and saving their money. So that's been cut off. But again, I'm predicting and speculating that in the future, post-pandemic, once Corona, and I'm not saying it's going to end anytime soon, but once those companies end up turning their dividends back on, or I guess handing their dividends back out, I will have whatever I told you, annual dividend per share of those companies. So it's exciting. And again, I will talk about this a lot more in the coming weeks and continue to keep updating you on my portfolio if I change anything out. But my big thing is just I'm a long-term holder. I don't plan on selling any of these shares. Again, we're talking about compounding. The more money I continue to invest, the more my money will grow. And a lot of these companies I feel like are true winners. So I'm really, really excited to see, 3 to 5 years from now when I still hold these companies, how much I've made off of them overall from just compounding and their dividend and reinvesting the dividend. But that is the thing, and my whole idea is as I continue to keep investing over time, it's going to get to a point to where these annual dividends, and when I get these dividends, I will reinvest them back into the stock market. And then hopefully I can use my either income from my side hustle, my daytime job, and really save that and start using that more towards actual real estate properties to where I can begin, which I brought up in the last episode, the Seibert property group, which is kind of like my big real estate thing I'm excited about probably in the next 5 to 10 years, starting that and lifting that off the ground. But I'll be able to use my income and my side hustle money and save that more for those kind of properties. And then depending on how much I actually have in the stock market, and if I'm making a really good return, I'll be able to use those annual dividends and really start thinking and saving for my long-term business fusion, which again, the name is subject to change. But it's an exciting time and something exciting to think about. And that's why now, being single, living on my own, living as cheap as possible, and just using my money and putting it to work as much as possible. So then hopefully, as time prevails and keeps going down the road, as my money grows, I'll be able to be a lot more risky and have a lot more fun with my money and think of new ways to continue to keep building my wealth and making more. So that's that segment. We're now going to the next segment, which I talked about in the introduction podcast, about news. And to be safe on time, we'll hover over this really quick. If you guys did not know, today in the news, and again, you'll be listening to this in the future, so ignore my day, but they announced that there was almost another 2.98 million Americans that lost their jobs, bringing that to a whole total so far due to this pandemic through the month of March up until now in May, 36.5 million Americans without jobs. And what I found really interesting too is on Yahoo, I was looking at a particular article not too long ago before I began recording. And from those numbers, the 36.5 million, 40% of people in households making less than $40,000 lost their job in March, which just breaks my heart. The whole American population is 328 million. So now we're just shy of that 300 million, and we're in the 200 million range. And Americans are out of work. And I'm assuming this is more retail, bartenders, hostesses, service workers. There's a lot of jobs out there, but it's really scary to think the long-term impact this is going to have. And I hope that, again, I talked about in my about my weekly update about how 2 weeks ago, there's different types of layoffs. I know a couple people who right now are currently still employed. They're not getting paid, but I just hope that when we get back to work and things are going normal again, that a lot more people who are laid off come right back. I mean, I hope that is what's going to happen. I can't say that's going to happen, but it's just scary to think about. And it's also important to remember that we need to save our money, and we can't just rely on our job as a revenue stream. Now, again, it's very traditional, and that's normally how things go. But for me personally, I like to have my hand in all kinds of jars and trying to find out ways to make money. So that way, if something happens, worst case scenario, I either have a fallback or I'll be comfortable and okay to attach myself to the next revenue stream. And especially too, with how much I have in the stock market, worst case, all B scenario, I have plenty in my savings. But if I were to burn through that, I would want to make sure that I have all that access to that capital in my stock market, just in case if I need to pull something or sell some stuff. So it's just really good, the importance of money and saving and being smart financially. I just wanted to bring that up. Usually with the news category, I'm not going to go too in depth, but things that I feel like are important and need to be discussed or brought up, I will make sure to share that. Of course, the last thing I want to bring up, or I guess as a category in each episode, is essentially a weekly challenge. And I got this, or I stole this from the Off-Brand Comedians Motivational Monday, or Motivation Monday. If you guys didn't know, my good friends Bryce and Cody, I helped and was involved in a live stream they held every Monday evening for the longest time. Since then, they have decided to postpone it, but I believe they're in the process of getting something started again sometime in the near future. But we would essentially just talk about motivation and what inspires us, talk about, do these weekly challenges, talk about the stock market, all kinds of stuff. That was really fun and exciting, and I super enjoyed. But I've had a hard time kind of integrating my personal, I guess not personal, but YouTube, Instagram into the mix. So what I want to be doing with this weekly challenge is I'm going to start posting, I guess, these exercises. And I mean, it can be a variety of things. It can be exercising, reading, cooking, you name it, habits for one whole week, and just continue to moderately change these and post these on my Instagram story just to kind of get that more involved. And I've brought this up in the past too, as well, in a couple different my videos, but essentially it's been proven that it takes 21 days to break a bad habit and 66 to form a new one, or I guess 68. Sorry, I have it down here in my notes on my laptop. But this will be really fun, and I hope people kind of get involved. They don't have to post their stuff, but if, they need some motivation, or if I'm posting something, then, maybe they'll look at that and be like, oh, maybe I should start, doing something too, or whatnot. So I'm really excited to bring this new feature and integrate this into another social platform that I'll be having. I understand that can be kind of annoying, and just know that if you're out there and you're not really a big fan of people who post exercising stuff, that's why I'm not particularly making posts on my social. It's just going to be on my story. So these will be quick segments, probably no music, me just talking or something and bringing this up and then performing that activity and then posting it. So that way you guys can see. And if you're curious and want to hold me accountable, you're more than welcome to follow, which would be greatly appreciated, because in the long term, that is the goal. Because when I post other content with links to these videos or podcast episodes, you'll be able to find them very quickly. But this week, so be on the lookout for this particularly, I've decided that I'm going to be doing 5 decline push-ups and then additionally 15 sit-ups. And going back to the push-ups, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be filming myself. My feet will be on my dining room table chair, and then I will be doing push-ups in a decline position. So my feet will stay the same on the chair while I go down. So overall, that should be a nice little workout, along with 15 sit-ups, and I'm really excited to bring that to you. But looking at my recording here, I guess GarageBand, the time limit is almost at 30 minutes again already, which is just awesome. I don't want to be boring, and I want to stay on topic, and I want to discuss as much as possible per episode. So that way, for those of you out there who maybe aren't able to watch my weekly content, or I guess my content on YouTube, you're able to fall back on this and kind of get a weekly update on what's really happening. And again, this is kind of just something I'm looking forward to. There's a lot of transparency here. There's a lot of really getting to know me. There's a lot of, feeling more comfortable and just doing something different and being excited about it, And I hope you out there who are listening kind of will get to the process of looking forward to these. I know that there's so much content being uploaded, it seems like every single second. So the more content out there, it is harder to find somebody. But it's all about just being unique and different and having fun. But again, I just can't thank you guys for all the love and support, both through YouTube and so far this whole podcast thing, the Chris Seibert Show that I have going on. The last remark I will make is that hopefully sometime in the near future, I won't say like this month or next month, but definitely at some point soon, I'm going to have guests featured on an episode for probably a good 10 to 15 minutes. And these guests all know kind of what they're doing and talk to them to make sure they're comfortable and see if they're interested. But you'll get to hear more of a backstory and what really pushes them and what inspires them and why they love doing what they're doing. And I'll be looking out for creative individuals, entrepreneurs who are around my age, more or less just unknown and really grinding out there and deserve some notoriety, and you get to really learn and see into their life. So expect that too. But guys, overall, again, thank you for everything. It's been a pleasure. This has been essentially week number 1 of the Chris Seibert Show. And again, look forward to these every single Friday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, if you're finding this for the first time, it'll be on my YouTube channel as well. But I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much. And you guys have a great, safe week. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.